All right, so today we're going to be talking about how to find a high quality ADHD therapist. There are so many therapists out there. There are so many directories. Everyone's got their specialties listed, their education listed, and it can just be really hard to find a quality therapist. I mean, where do you even begin? How do you know who's going to be the right fit? Now, I'm a therapist myself, and in today's video, I'm going to share with you some tips. I don't know if they're tricks, but some ways in which you can locate a high quality therapist without having to search endlessly. Now, I own a group practice here in New York City. We're called Progress Therapy. One of our specialties is ADHD therapy. I'll leave a link to our website down below. But with that out of the way, let's just jump into today's video. Now, I'm going to share my screen with you to a blog article I recently wrote for our website. It is called How to Find an ADHD Therapy, or How to Find ADHD Therapy on the Upper East Side of New York. Now, that's where we're located, but this is going to work no matter where you live, okay? It could be anywhere, really. But let's jump in. So I want to jump down to, well, first off, let's start here. What exactly is ADHD therapy? Now, there is no specific ADHD therapy, right? But ADHD therapy is essentially the treatment of ADHD and its symptoms. And this typically involves a combination of different therapies. So at Progress Therapy, where I work, we are using a combination of what's called DBT, dialectical behavior therapy. We're occasionally using CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and then we're also doing some executive function skills training. Now, the important part is you want to make sure that whatever therapy you're doing for ADHD, it's evidence-based, right? It's showing to be effective. And that's something we do at Progress Therapy. All the treatments we do are evidence-based. All right, so that's just a bit about what ADHD therapy is. I know some people watching this are probably like, what's that? I've never heard of it. It's essentially therapy geared towards ADHD, okay? Now, how do we find a therapist who can actually help us with this? And it's actually not that difficult, but I want to go through with you. Is that right? I want to go through these 3 different topics with you. And they're actually listed out right here. You can read them on the blog, follow along. I'll leave a link down below in the description. But essentially what we want to do is we want to ask the right questions when calling a therapist. Now, the first thing I would do is if I am searching a directory or I'm on some sort of online search, I would type in therapist that specializes in ADHD or ADHD therapist, something like that. This is a good starting point. This is at least going to get you in contact with the therapists who are saying that they specialize in ADHD. Right now, from there, what we want to do is ask the right questions on a consultation call. Most therapists are offering free consultation calls, so that is where I would ask these questions. So the first thing we want to do is we want to assess the knowledge that the provider has about ADHD. Now, ADHD is a fairly hot topic now, so a lot of providers are going to say that they have knowledge about it, and most providers are probably familiar to some degree with it, but the extent to which they're familiar with it is going to be really important. So you want to make sure that the provider you're working with really does know about it, right? You want to know how they know about it, where have they learned about ADHD, do they have specific training in ADHD, and that's okay. I mean, I actually welcome those questions. These are great questions to ask any provider you might be wanting to work with, and this will just help you assess like to what degree the provider actually knows about ADHD, right? We then actually want to ask about the ability to deliver evidence-based treatments, right? So again, when you're treating ADHD, you don't want to just be guessing. You don't want a provider to just be doing any other therapy that they've been doing, but you want treatments that are actually working for ADHD, right? Evidence-based. I've already mentioned a few that we do at Progress, and that's a great question to ask any potential provider. You can ask them, what treatments do you use for ADHD, or what types of interventions are you using to treat ADHD, and hopefully they're able to give you an answer there, right? So that's another thing to answer or to ask. And then finally, and this is kind of a combination of the 2 above, you can just flat out ask about the provider's experience and training in ADHD, right? So typically a provider who is going to treat ADHD would have some sort of, well, hopefully a combination of both experience in working with ADHD mixed with a formal training or education in ADHD. And so you can just ask about that, right? What background you have in ADHD, what's the training you have, this kind of thing. And I think if you ask these questions, you're going to have a lot of data about that provider that's going to be really insightful to really help you make that decision. Now, I hope this video was helpful for you. I know it was quite short. Hopefully it was to the point. The whole idea here of this video is to really help you determine how you can find the best therapist for you. If you're interested in working with our practice, again, it's called Progress Therapy. We are licensed in the state of New York. We can work with individuals across the entire state. You can go ahead and schedule a free consultation. I'll leave a link to our free consultation scheduling tool down below, which you can click on and go ahead and do that. Other than that, I hope this video was helpful. I hope you learned something, and I will see you in the next video.